I welcome you all to my 7th lecture on signals and systems for electronics and communications engineering students and for electronics and computer engineering students. Today I'm going to discuss the topic of continuous time LTI systems, that is continuous time linear time invariant systems. First, we will discuss representation of continuous time signals in terms of impulses. Now, to develop the continuous time counterpart of the discrete time shifting property, we begin by considering a pulse or staircase approximation x cap t to a continuous time signal xt. Now we will look at the different plots. So in this graph, xt is plotted with respect to t. This continuous time signal is xt. And this staircase approximation is x cap t. Now the approximation x cap t can be expressed as a linear combination of delayed weighted pulses. I repeat, the approximation x cap t can be expressed as a linear combination of delayed weighted pulses. Now look at this. There are different pulses, weighted pulses. Now first we will see this pulse, weighted pulse. So it is represented as a signal delta with subscript uppercase delta bracket t plus uppercase delta into x bracket minus uppercase delta into uppercase delta. Now look at the plot. Look at its plot. The amplitude at this point is x bracket minus delta. So this pulse maintains the constant amplitude from minus uppercase delta to 0. Similarly, this pulse, weighted pulse, is signal x bracket 0 delta with subscript uppercase delta bracket t into uppercase delta. Now at this point, amplitude is x0. And this pulse maintains the constant amplitude x0 from t is equal to 0 to uppercase delta. Now, similarly, this pulse is represented as signal delta with subscript uppercase delta bracket t minus uppercase delta into x bracket uppercase delta into uppercase delta. And it is plotted like this. So these all pulses contribute towards approximation x cap t. Now, if we define delta with subscript uppercase delta bracket t equal to 1 by uppercase delta for t lying in the range 0 to uppercase delta and 0 for otherwise, then since uppercase delta into delta with subscript uppercase delta bracket t has unit amplitude as discussed in the previous lectures, we have the expression x cap t is equal to summation k running from minus infinity to infinity x bracket k uppercase delta with subscript uppercase delta bracket t minus k uppercase delta into uppercase delta. Mark it as equation A2. And this is staircase approximation for xt. As we let uppercase delta approach 0, the approximate x cap t becomes better and better. As we let uppercase delta approach 0, the approximation x cap t becomes better and better, and in the limit equals xt. Therefore, xt is equal to limit uppercase delta tending to 0, x cap t, which leads to xt is equal to limit uppercase delta tending to 0, summation k running from minus infinity to infinity, x bracket k uppercase delta into delta with subscript uppercase delta bracket t minus k uppercase delta into uppercase delta. Mark it as equation A3 as shown on the screen. Now as uppercase delta tends to 0 here, the summation in equation A3 approaches an integral. So If this uppercase delta tends to 0, the summation in this equation A3 approaches an integral. It is noteworthy that the limit as delta, uppercase delta tends to 0 of delta with subscript uppercase delta bracket t is the unit impulse function delta t. So once more I repeat, it is noteworthy that the limit as uppercase delta tends to 0 of delta with subscript uppercase delta t is the unit impulse function delta t. Consequently, xt is equal to integration from minus infinity to infinity x tau delta bracket t minus tau d tau. Mark it as equation B1. As in discrete time, we refer to above equation as the shifting property of the continuous time impulse. Now example, if xt is equal to ut here, that is unit step function, then we will substitute ut here in equation B1. So ut is equal to integration from minus infinity to infinity u tau delta t minus tau d tau. But we know that u tau is equal to 0 for tau less than 0 and u tau is equal to 1 for tau greater than 1. So in this we will make changes and the integration is from now 0 to infinity delta bracket t minus tau d tau. Mark it as equation B2. So this forms the basic definition of ut, that is ut is equal to integration from 0 to infinity delta bracket t minus tau d tau. Now this relation, we will verify this relation. We can write B1 as xt is equal to integration from minus infinity to infinity x tau delta bracket t minus tau d tau. Now from this equation, it is clear that the impulse function is defined at t is equal to tau. So we can replace this tau with t here. So this is integration from minus infinity to infinity xt delta bracket t minus tau d tau. Now I will get this xt out of the integration, and this is xt integration minus infinity to infinity delta bracket t minus tau d tau. Now area under the unit impulse is unity. So this is xt. So equation B1 is found to be true, and we can apply it anywhere. Now the next article is the continuous time unit impulse response and the convolution integral representation of LTI systems. The approximate signal representation x cap t is a sum of scaled and shifted versions of basic pulse signal delta with subscript uppercase delta bracket t. Now x cap t is equal to summation k running from minus infinity to infinity x bracket k uppercase delta into delta with subscript uppercase delta bracket t minus k uppercase delta into uppercase delta as input to an LTI system with impulse response ht, and the output is y cap t. Now the response y cap t of a linear time invariant system to the x cap t will be the superposition of the responses of the scaled and shifted versions of delta with subscript cap uppercase delta bracket t. I repeat, the response y cap t of a linear time invariant system to the x cap t will be the superposition of the responses of the scaled and shifted versions of delta with subscript uppercase delta bracket t. Specifically, let us define h cap k delta bracket t as the response of an LTI system to the input delta with subscript uppercase delta bracket t minus k uppercase delta, where h cap subscript k del uppercase delta bracket t is equal to h cap bracket t minus k uppercase delta. Now this is the representation of h cap t minus k uppercase delta. Now based on superposition theorem, it can be shown that This output y cap t is equal to summation k running from minus infinity to infinity uppercase delta into x bracket k uppercase delta into h cap bracket t minus k uppercase delta. Now it can be rewritten as sub y cap t is equal to summation k running from minus infinity to infinity x bracket k uppercase delta into h cap subscript k uppercase delta bracket t into uppercase delta. Mark it as equation C1. Now, as uppercase delta tends to 0, the response to x cap t, namely y cap t, must converge to yt. So yt is equal to limit uppercase delta tending to 0, summation k running from minus infinity to infinity is x bracket k uppercase delta into h cap subscript k uppercase delta bracket t into uppercase delta. Mark it as equation C2. As uppercase delta tends to 0, the summation on the right hand side becomes an integral. Now here, as the uppercase delta tends to 0, this summation becomes an integral. It follows that is using equation C2, yt is equal to limit uppercase delta tending to 0, y cap t. That is equal to integration from minus infinity to infinity x tau h subscript tau bracket t into d tau. Mark it as equation C3. Or yt can be rewritten as integration from minus infinity to infinity x tau into h bracket t minus tau d tau C4. So this is the major equation. Here h subscript tau bracket t is equal to h bracket t minus tau is the response of an LTI system to the unit impulse delta bracket t minus tau, which is shifted by tau seconds from the origin here. As ht is the response to delta t, therefore ht is called unit impulse response. The equation C4, that is yt is equal to integration from minus infinity to infinity x tau h bracket t minus tau d tau, is referred to as the convolution integral or the superposition integral, which is the continuous time counterpart of the convolution sum and corresponds to the representation of a continuous time LTI system in terms of its response to a unit impulse. Now the convolution of two signals xt and ht will be represented symbolically as yt is equal to xt linearly convolved with ht. We have chosen to use the same symbol as shown to denote both discrete time and continuous time convolution. So this symbol is representing linear convolution. So yt is xt linearly convolved with ht. So this symbol is used to represent convolution integral in continuous time domain, and this symbol is used to represent linear convolution sum in discrete time domain. Now we will do one example. Let xt be the input to an LTI system with unit impulse response ht, where xt is equal to e raised to minus at ut for a greater than 0 and ht is equal to ut. Here ut is unit step function. Determine the response of the underlying LTI system. So we will see, I think equation C4, yes. So output LTI system of yt is equal to integration from minus infinity to infinity x tau h bracket t minus tau d tau. This is linear, this is a convolution integral or superposition integral. So what we need x tau multiplied by h bracket t minus tau in this equation C4. Now in this example, we will plot h tau and x tau first. So h tau is u tau and x tau is e raised to minus a tau u tau. This is plotted. Now I have plotted ht minus tau for t less than 0 like this, and h bracket t minus tau for t. I have plotted this ht minus tau for t less than 0, and here ht minus tau for t greater than 0. Now our aim is to calculate x tau into h bracket t minus tau. So for tau in the range 0 to t, I will use this plot and this plot, and the common area will be calculated as x tau h bracket t minus tau is equal to e raised to power minus a tau when tau is lying in the range 0 to t and 0 otherwise. Mark it as equation D1. So this and this will be used for t greater than 0. Now it follows that yt for t greater than 0 is, as given below, that yt is equal to integration from 0 to t e raised to power minus a tau d tau based on equation C4. And now we will follow the conventional procedure for integration, and we will get yt is equal to 1 by a bracket 1 minus e raised to power minus at, mark it as equation D2 for t greater than 0. Thus for all t, yt is equal to 1 by a bracket 1 minus e raised to power minus at into ut. This ut represents that yt is having significant value for t greater than 0. The response of system with impulse response ht is equal to ut to the input xt is equal to e raised to power minus at ut is yt. So look at this. This is xt, x tau, this is h tau, this is impulse response, this is input waveform, and the output yt is plotted like this. So look at the output response. Now we will discuss properties of the linear time invariant systems. Now in discrete time domain, that is for discrete time LTI systems, output yn is equal to summation k running from minus infinity to infinity xk h bracket n minus k, or equal to xn linearly convolved with hn. Here xn is input and hn is unit impulse response. Similarly, in continuous time domain, that is for the continuous time LTA systems, output yt is equal to integration from minus infinity to infinity x tau h bracket t minus tau d tau is equal to xt convolved with ht. Here xt is input and ht is unit impulse response. Now next is commutative property. Here in equation E3, x in discrete time domain, xn convolved with hn is equal to hn convolved with xn. Both are giving same answer. And that is equal to summation k running from minus infinity to infinity hk xn minus k. So look at this E1 and E3. Though the formula seems to be different, but the answer will be same because we can derive E3 by putting n minus k is equal to r in equation E1. So message conveyed is same. Similarly, in the continuous time domain or for the continuous time LTI systems, in equation E4, xt linearly convolved with ht is equal to ht linearly convolved with xt. And that is equal to integration from minus infinity to infinity h tau into x bracket t minus tau d tau. Now we will compare equation E2 and E4. We will find that the formulas are different, but the output is same because we can derive E4 by putting t minus tau is equal to t by putting t minus tau is equal to tau cap in equation E2. So you can use this formula or this formula in your problem. Next is distributive property. Here xn linearly convolved with bracket h1n plus h2n, and that is equal to xn convolved with h1n plus xn convolved with h2n in discrete time domain. In continuous time domain, xt is linearly convolved with bracket h1t plus h2t, and that is equal to xt convolved with h1t plus xt convolved with h2t in continuous time domain. So in the block diagram representation of this, xt is input and the system function impulse response is h1t plus h2t, output is yt. Now its interpretation of the interpretation of the distributive property of convolution for a parallel interconnection of LTA system is shown here. So by using equation E6, I can show you that this is y1t, this is y2t, and both are added to give yt. So xt is input, it is passed through this LTA system with impulse response h1t and output is y1t. In parallel, xt is passed through an LTI system with impulse response h2t and the output is y2t. And here both are summed to give yt. The message conveyed at output is same for both, but the configuration is quite different. Also, as a consequences of both commutative and distributive properties, we have bracket x1n plus x2n convolved with hn is equal to x1n convolved with hn plus x2n convolved with hn. And similarly, bracket x1t plus x2t bracket close convolved with ht is equal to x1t convolved with ht plus x2t convolved with ht, which simply state that the response of an LTI system to the sum of two inputs here must equal the sum of the responses to these signals individually, like this here y1t plus y2t. So I repeat, now look at this. This is sum of two input signals, which is going to be convolved with ht. Now this is output of one system x1t convolved with h2 ht, and this is y2t, that is output of other system x2t convolved with ht, and both are summed. So which simply state that the response of an LTI system to the sum of two inputs must equal the sum of the responses to these signal individually. Now associative property. Now in discrete time, xn is linearly convolved with bracket h1n convolved with h2n, and that is equivalent to bracket xn convolved with h1n first, and then the resultant is convolved with h2n. Mark it as E9. Similarly, in continuous time domain, xt is convolved with bracket h1t convolved with h2t, and that is equal to bracket xt convolved with h1t, and the resultant is convolved with h2t. Mark it as equation E10. Now look at the LTI systems and cascade. What is happening here? Xn is input. It is passed through a system with impulse response h1n, and then the output is further passed through another system in cascade with impulse response h2n. The final output is yn. So this is equivalent to xn is input given to a block with impulse response hn is equal to h1n convolved with h2n, and the output is yn here. Now I can change the order of h1 and h2n, and xn is hn h2n convolved with h1n, and output is yn. So the final representation is x1 and xn is input to this system with impulse h2n, and its output is given to the cascaded system with impulse response h1n, and the final output is yn. So both this configuration and this configuration give same output. So you can interchange the order of the LTI subsystems in the cascaded structure, but the output will remain same. The LTI systems with and without memory. A system is memoryless if its output at any time depends only on the value of the input at that same time. The only way that this can be true for a discrete time LTI system is if hn is equal to 0 for n not equal to 0. In this case, the impulse response has the form hn is equal to k delta n, where k is equal to h0 is a constant. And now the convolution sum reduces to the relation yn is equal to k xn. If a discrete time LTI system has an impulse response hn that is not identically 0 for n not equal to 0, then the system has memory. Let us consider yn is equal to xn plus x bracket n minus 1. The input xn and the output yn are related by this equation for an LTI system. Now yn is equal to xn convolved with bracket delta n plus delta n minus 1. Therefore, hn is equal to delta n plus delta bracket n minus 1. This is impulse response. From this, it is clear. So the impulse response hn for the system is non-zero for n is equal to 1. Look at this. Here, delta bracket n minus 1 is present. So this impulse is present at n is equal to 1. So the impulse response hn for this system is non-zero for n is equal to 1. And this system exhibits memory. A continuous time LTI system is memoryless if ht is equal to 0 for t not equal to 0, and such a memoryless LTI system has the form yt is equal to k xt for some constant k, and has the impulse response ht is equal to k delta t. Now we will discuss the invertibility of LTI system. Concept of an inverse system for continuous time LTI systems is shown. Now look at this block diagram. Xt is input to an LTI system with impulse response ht, and the output is yt. Now yt is passed through another LTI system with impulse response h1t, and the output is wt. So wt here is shown to be equal to xt. The system with impulse response h1t is the inverse of the system with impulse response ht if ht convolved with h1t is delta t. Now this is only possible when ht convolved with h1t is delta t. So xt is input, and this is identity system, this is delta t, and then it is possible that output is xt. So ht convolved with h1t must be equal to delta t. Here ht convolved with h1t is delta t in continuous time domain, and hn convolved with h1n is equal to delta n in discrete time domain. So the system with impulse response h1t is the inverse of the system with impulse response ht. Example: consider an LTI system with impulse response hn is equal to un. Using the convolution sum, we can calculate the response of this system to an arbitrary input xn as yn is equal to xn linearly convolved with hn is equal to xn convolved with un, because hn is equal to un. Mark it as equation f1. So yn is equal to summation k running from minus infinity to infinity xk un minus k, and that is equal to summation k running from minus infinity to n xk. Mark it as equation f2. Now look at this. Un minus k is 0 for bracket n minus k less than 0, or un minus k is having value 1 when n is greater than k. So the limits are changed from k is equal to minus infinity to n xk. So yn is equal to summation k running from minus infinity to n xk. This is an accumulator or summer that computes the running sum of all the values of the input up to the present time. What about its inverse system with impulse response h1n? So we need to calculate the impulse response of the inverse system h1n. Now if wn is equal to yn minus 1, the first difference equation, then wn is equal to yn linearly convolved with bracket delta n minus delta bracket n minus 1. So yn is equal to, so wn is equal to yn linearly convolved with h1n. So yn convolved with h1n is equal to xn convolved with hn. Yn is xn convolved with hn. So I have substituted here. So yn convolved with h1n is equal to xn convolved with hn, and that is further convolved with h1n, that is bracket delta n minus delta n minus 1, and that is equal to wn. Now wn is equal to bracket, now what is hn? Un convolved with bracket delta n minus 1 bracket close, linearly convolved with xn. Now I will open this bracket. Un convolved with delta n will be equal to un. Un convolved with delta n minus 1 will be un minus 1. So it is un minus 1 bracket close, linearly convolved with xn. But by definition, un minus un bracket n minus 1 is equal to delta n. So this delta n convolved with xn is equal to xn, that is input. So this assumption is exactly right, absolutely right, that h1n is delta n minus delta bracket n minus 1. Therefore, the impulse response of inverse system is h1n is equal to delta n minus delta bracket n minus 1. So this is the impulse response of inverse system in this case. So I think that's all for today's lecture. And this lecture is from the textbook on Signal and Systems by A.V. Oppenheim, A.S. Wilsky, and by S.H. Nawab. And you can consult these three text reference books also as per your convenience for detailed study. Thanks for attending this session on Signal Systems. See you in next lecture. Have a nice day.